Hello friends, this will be a super fast tutorial showing you how to use Clay together with Instantly so that you can finally send a bunch of automatic personalized emails at scale at your target prospects. So essentially the first thing that we need to bear in mind is that this will require seven separate steps, the first step of which is connecting the API key. So all you would need to do is proceed to your Instantly workspace, navigate to the settings. Inside of settings you should have this option of the drop down for API keys, and over here you'll click on create API key, and you can generate your own API key by giving it a quick name. So I'm just going to call it Tim Test 2, and you can select the scope to be all, because that will enable you to use the API for all sorts of fancy purposes. At that moment in time you're going to click on create, and that will automatically generate the actual API key for you, but on my side for obvious reasons. So what you're going to do is now copy this API key, clicking on this toggle on the right hand side, and you're going to then go into Clay. And inside of Clay, you can basically click on your profile, click on settings, and inside of settings under connections, you can basically type in the word instantly here and add the connection by clicking on add connection, and then copying and pasting your API key, and then calling this whatever you want to call this API key, setting it as the default, clicking on save, and to test the account and to save this API key so that you have it for future reference connected. Right, at that moment in time, it should now tell you that the API key is valid. Here it is. It's the default option. Happy days. So we move on to step 2, which is building a quick email campaign inside of Instantly. Now the way that we will typically do that, entering the campaigns section of Instantly on the left-hand side of the panel. At that moment in time, we can click on Add New in the top right-hand corner. We can name the campaign. So I'm just going to call it Test 2026. Just so we don't get it mixed up. At that moment in time, you can click on continue to the sequences section over here. So at that moment in time, what we're going to do is just put some placeholder text. So typically, like, you can type in any gibberish here, but I'm just going to type in placeholder just for the sake of it. Then I'm going to click on add step, and I'm going to add some placeholder text into email 2 as well. And I can space out the emails by, let's say, 5 days if I want to, or you can space out by 2 days. Honestly, I wouldn't judge you. I honestly couldn't care less how many days you take to space those out. And basically, at that moment in time, you're ready to launch this campaign, more or less. And if you want to do that, you would then click on the schedule toggle over here, so you can decide on a schedule to make sure that you're sending it in the right time zone. And after that, you can select the specific accounts that you want to use. So in this case, I'm just going to select a couple of the client's accounts, and I hope they don't mind me doing this, but basically in simple terms, I'm just going to select a couple of accounts here, and you can choose to stop sending emails on reply. It's up to you. I would not recommend doing open rate tracking, because it's just a vanity metric and you can't really do much with that. You can tick a bunch of boxes here. You can literally follow what I'm doing. I'm basically ticking a couple of these boxes. In the advanced settings, I'm just selecting myself as the owner. You can also assign a tag to the person, so you can like tag them as, like, I don't know, whatever type of prospects that gets added to this sequence. Once again, you can play around with those. For the most part, I just disable. Basically, I don't tick any of those. And then I enable provider matching for deliverability boosts usually, and the winning metric that I'm choosing here is the reply rate, because I don't really care about anything else. You can check for the time between emails. You can make that 20 minutes or whatever. Like, I just put 20 minutes. Maximum new leads per day. Let's say we cap it at 1,000. Don't go too crazy though. Obviously, this is a test campaign. And at that moment in time, we can click on save. And what that will automatically do is basically save this campaign so we can add leads to it inside of Clay. So at this moment in time, we move on to step 3, because we've just built out a quick campaign inside of Instantly, and it's time to generate the custom message for the campaign. So if you're not familiar with custom messages just yet, then the chances are you've either been living under a rock or you haven't seen this tutorial just yet. Either way, I've got you covered. And specifically what we're going to try and do here is to pass the message, so pass the entire email all in one specific cell. So the way we'll do that is by clicking on add column, by clicking on message, and over here we can then like type in whatever message we want to type in for the person using the dynamic variables that we already created inside of Clay. So in this case, I'm going to say, hi, first name, what's your 5 kilometer PB? And if you didn't know that this functionality existed, I'm sure this is a big aha moment for you. So please comment down below and like this video, because this will save you a bunch of time later down the line. But basically that's the way we'll do it. And we'll click on save and don't run, because this wouldn't cost us any credits. And low key, it still runs perfectly. So I don't know how that works. And then at that moment in time, you can click on a column, click on rename column, and you will just basically call it email 1. I have just done over here. So now you have email 1, and I'm just going to duplicate it because I can't be bothered to think of email 2 to show you for the purpose of this demo. But in super simple terms, what we then need to do after this is just to add this as email 1 and add this as email 2 inside of this Instantly campaign in the sequences here. So this will be the placeholder text. Now, how do we do this? And I'm glad you asked. And hopefully people around me in the co-working don't judge me for speaking to myself in third person here. But essentially, at this moment in time, all we need to do is click on Add Enrichment in the top right corner, type in Instantly, bonus points if you spell that correctly. Not sure if that's the second time that I said that, because yeah, repetition of jokes does not really work here. And at that moment in time, you can basically you can see that the account has been connected using the API key. We then need to just type in the specific campaign. So I'm selecting test 2026. You can then map the variables, so the email address, the first name, the last name, and so on. So I'm not really going to do that because that's optional, and this is a dummy video, right? And all we need to care about here is the custom variables bit. So where you can add a new variable name and a variable value pair. So at this moment in time, I'm just going to call it email 1 and email 2, because remember, we want to pass this into Instantly. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to type in email 1, match it by clicking on backslash and then whatever, like basically typing in the email. And all we can then do is basically save and run 11 rows in this view. Needless to say, as you can probably tell by now, the emails that have an the contacts that have an email address will be added into the campaign, as you can see over here. And all you need to do is go back into Instantly and basically just refresh the page by just clicking on this refresh button. This is when the second aha moment happens, whereby if you now, after refreshing the page, delete the placeholder text, and if you click on variables, you'll see email 1 is now a variable. So you can then click on save, and you can see email 1 here. And just to make sure that we are on the same page here, you're not just sending email 1 as the wording. You can click on preview, and straight away you can see what we're sending to this person. So it says, "Hi Chase, what's your 5 kilometer PB?" which is the email 1 that we're sending out to that person. So yeah, that's the magic behind it. You can also send the test email to yourself to see what that looks like. You can also check the deliverability score, but once again, I'm not going to do that. Don't have enough time for that. And then for email 2, you do the same thing. You just delete the placeholder text. You click on variables. You send email. You add email 2. You can click on preview again. I duplicated the text for both emails, so don't read into the copywriting here. I'm sure some LinkedIn gurus will tell me that that's not the best copywriting. And essentially, this is how end-to-end you will set up the campaign. So that's the first option of how you can add the lead to a campaign. Now, the second option, well, at this moment in time, you're probably thinking, oh, hey, but this took me 8 minutes and half of my brain cells to figure out how to do this. How do I make this a lot faster next time? And I'm really glad you asked me these phenomenal questions. So to basically reward you for those type of questions, what I'm going to do is show you how to set up this 10 times faster next time. And the way you'll do that is by going back into Clay. Inside of Clay, you'll click on Edit Column. You'll save this as a template, and you'll call this template whatever, like add lead to Instantly. Obviously, don't misspell it because, yeah, grammar is everything. And then at that moment in time, what you will basically be doing is just saving this as a template so that next time you try and add the leads to a campaign, all you have to do is click on Add Enrichment, type in Instantly again, and select the same enrichment. And if you click on Browse Templates, voila, you have this as a quick option where all you need to do is just select the input fields and they will be automatically passed into the campaign, right? So email 2, apply template. And then in this case, for this to actually work, I'm just going to allow to allow duplicates in the workspace. So this way, we can set up the campaign super, super fast, and you can see they're added to the campaign instantly, and that took like 3 seconds to do. And then if we also want to do the same inside of Instantly and not have to go through the hassle of the campaign setup, all we need to do is go into the campaign section over here, and just clicking on the 3 dots, and click on Duplicate Campaign, and just calling this whatever duplicate name you want to, and straight away, you will automatically pass this new copy into the campaign if you just edit the column and just choose a different campaign to send it to. So if I say copy, yeah, you will basically send it to that campaign straight away. So that's how you make clay scalable. And on this note, you're probably thinking like, wow, I uncovered a couple of new ways of like how to generate custom messages, how to add leads to Instantly. Like, this is pretty cool. You seem like a cool guy. This tutorial is like, 10 minutes of like fairly good content. So if you like that, please like the video, please comment something nice below, just so I don't lose my motivation to record these random videos. And then one other thing to mention is, if you are trying to figure out how to use Clay, if some of the stuff that I showed today was impressive and would have taken you a while to figure out otherwise, I think you would genuinely enjoy Unlock Clay. I'm not going to pitch it to you. You can go on the website. There will be a link down below for you to go there and check it out. Also, if you want this video and an entire guide on how to set up Instantly with Clay, all you need to do is just basically click on the link right underneath the video. And for context, what I mean by that, this link that I'm talking about, so it will be this top link that you need to click on, and it will basically give you the exact guide and video and everything. And it's good for future reference, so you can pass it on to a colleague or like another person that you know who uses Instantly, in case if they ask you about it, so you don't just get lost in all of these YouTube videos. So essentially that's that. If you want to check out Unlock Clay, go do that. It's only £100. It gives you your money back within 30 days if you don't love the course. And it basically teaches you everything from 0 to 100 in terms of how to implement Clay, how to use it, how to write super personalized cold emails. We have over 30 first liners that you can cold email anyone with. You have a bunch of prompts, a bunch of workflows to copy and paste, all of that good stuff. Honestly, I don't need to sell it to you. We are Clay experts. We're Clay educators. We're on the Clay websites. A bunch of students love us. You can check out the testimonial wall here. Not going to sell you any more on that. It's only £100. Go check it out if you want to. If not, please like this video, and I'll see you in the next one tomorrow. All the best in the meantime. Subscribe to the channel, by the way, because at this trajectory, I'll probably hit 1,000 subscribers in 3 years from now, which is very aspirational. Anyways, over and out. Have a good one. Cheers.